Hello, and welcome to my presentation of the prototype of a system for assignment 3 in human computer interaction. The system I'll be talking about today and the prototype I made is for the Wanderlust system that I created for assignment 1. And so we're just going to get started with a little bit of the purpose of this. So, Wanderlust was kept in mind for people who created vacations and wanted to have an extra resource to keep all of the information associated with that vacation trip all in one place. So it's not booked up with their daily calendar software and overcrowded with everything that would be on their daily calendar. So to create this system, I used HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and it's running on a Node server. And I also have some external information there. I use a Firestore database for the storage of the information. And I also use a little Bootstrap just for a design implementation. And so we're going to get the site up and running and take a look at it and what it does. And so to do that, I am using Windows PowerShell because that's where I have my node installed. And so I'm just right now in the directory where all of my files are. And then to actually run the site, I'm going to put in npm install. And that's going to install all the information from Node it needs to run the site. Next, I'm just going to say node index.js, and that runs the initial file. And so it says Node.js server is up and listening to port 8080. So now I can go back to my screen and I can put in localhost 8080. It pops up right there for me. And this is the site, and this is how it shows up. So this is a landing page. It just has a little spiel about what Wanderlust is, some screenshots of the site working. So we're just going to log in and sign up. So the login and sign up for the first prototypes are actually the same format right now. If I were to go to sign up, it's just the two fields and a sign up. And if I were to go to back and to log in, it's the same thing. So in the future, I'm hoping to be able to update that, give a little more usability for users to double check their password, maybe confirm their email, maybe add in their name, some personalization features. But for right now, the first prototypes, the sign up is there and it works. And so the account we're going to be using is the admin account. So I have the email there at test.ca. The password is just admin123. Once I log in, it'll take me to the user home. And so here you can see we have a list of all of the test features so that I've already implemented. So these are some multiple trips. And here's a way to add a new trip. So if we're going to go there, this is where all the information is and adding activities. So we're going to start with a title. So we'll just say it is spring break. Start date is now. It ends later. Some activities we could be doing during spring break is sleeping, or maybe we're going to go to the beach. Another thing here is notes. So it automatically fills in no notes yet, so it doesn't become an undefined variable when it's sent to the database. So for here, I can just put get a bathing suit. There you go. I add the trip, takes us back to our user homepage, and here it is at the bottom. And if we click into it, we can view it. It's got this nice little box here with all the information we just entered, the notes at the bottom. We can also edit the trip from here. So we can edit here. All these are able to change the information. Say we got our bathing suit, but we need to get sunglasses. We save the trip, take us back to this page. Our note, it has changed. And so that's just the general usability of it, and how you would just go through the website. In the future, I'm really hoping to accentuate the itinerary usability right now. In the original assignment 1 outline, it had been on its own. So you should have been able to click into it. Each of the activities should have had more information, including maybe a specific date or time. Excuse me. And that was the plan for that. But unfortunately, when creating the database where all this information was stored, there's no way to actually further add information to a variable. So right now, this is all stored in just a string array, and that's how it's posted as a string array. So if we were to go into the database right now, so this code is associated with the admin account. Firestore is very convenient because it adds its very own authentication capability. And so these are the two accounts registered with Wanderlust right now, and the admin is what we've been talking about. So if we go here, we press into the admin account and the list, it's got these 5 items. These 5 items are actually our trips, and this is how it's stored. It's got the date modified, and these are in alphabetical order, not the order that they're sent to the database. So if we go to item 5, that should be the trip that we just added. So end date is later, start date is now, the title is spring break, the notes set get sunglasses, and here's the itinerary in the array. So using Node and everything, I'll pull up just my index page. So I'm using Node and Express within Node, which is why if you look towards the views, they're all in the EJS. So that's how the Express database knows to work with Firebase, and knows to switch the views in my other code as well. And so here we got the Firebase configuration. And so this is the page once you enter it into the well, for me, PowerShell, this is a page that loads everything and connects everything. And yeah, and so since this is the prototype, there are quite a few things that need to be improved in the future as they're included in the report. Um, but the main thing that I think should be focused on is just how the itinerary is used. I believe there's a lot further abilities in that. If I pull it up again, for these to have its own spotlight and have more information pertaining that to help with further organization, which is the purpose of Wanderlust and the vision that I have for it. So that is the system that I've created. Um, and I think for the prototype, it has done all of the main functionalities it needs to do. But just for the sake of usability for beginner users who don't really have adept knowledge in computers and websites and everything, there's still a little bit that needs to be done to help make it easier for them. A few features that still really do need to be improved in general is there's no way to delete any trips or activities from the page point of view. You can only do that if you were to go into the database and delete it yourself. But obviously, users won't be able to do that. So that is one big functionality I think needs to happen. Um, and through testing and using and everything, there has been one really big error that I've realized recently. If I were to add a new trip and I say I'll just enter random values that are accepted right now, if I don't add an activity is its own variable. And if I don't add any information for that and I add the trip, the website itself is going to error out. And if I pull up the PowerShell, it'll give me the error that unsupported field value undefined. So right now that's happening for the title, the start date and the end date and the itinerary. If no information is entered there, it shuts down the server because the Firebase storage doesn't like it. And so there's a few things that need to be fixed before the release of this website. But for a prototype, I think it was a very great success. So thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation.